Don't burp up. Don't burp yourself. Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Rude Cooking School podcast. I'm your host, John Alza III, and with me is the person that inspired that opening.
It's Jeni Peck. I'm a little gassy today. I didn't realize I burped right into the mic.
That was awesome. I was like, all right, you ready? And then I go back and I'm like, and then you're like, bleh. Like, I wish everybody could just, I'm not going to put that up there, but it'd be great. Just
gotta get it out before we start.
No, totally. I'm sure anyone who's listening to this that actually has their own podcast is like, yep, that's what you do. Stretch.
Go blow your nose, get the gas out.
Blow your nose. Yeah, totally. How's it going?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm okay. I've been staying away from cooking too much this week because I've been really busy with other stuff. But
take a break sometimes.
Yeah. I am coming out of a pretty dark, I don't want to cook jag, where I've just been like, I don't want to cook. I don't want to fucking do it. Like,
yeah, it's a lot of work, man.
It's exhausting sometimes.
It is. But now that's why I keep frozen pizza and chicken nuggets in the freezer for those days when I want to eat like a 5-year-old.
Yeah,
and it's okay.
I wish I had that stuff right now. We've eaten a lot of leftovers, but luckily the leftovers were good leftovers. So it was like, but at the same time, you're like, oh, fucking leftovers. God damn it.
Yeah, I hate leftovers.
But like, last night we had leftover burgers from the burgers I made the other night, which are fine, great. Like, they're actually really good. Like, and it was weird. Both times I made those burgers, they were like bite through burgers, not like you pull half the stuff off with it, or it slide, or when you're eating it, everything squirts out. Like just the build of the burger was really good.
Yeah, that's very important.
Yeah, so it was like, pretty relatively thinly sliced tomato and lettuce and onion and I really like mustard, mayonnaise, and mayo. I mean mustard,
ketchup,
mayonnaise, and ketchup on a burger. All
it
three.
Makes it slippy slidey.
Yeah. But it's like I do mayonnaise on the bottom and mustard and ketchup on the top. And then the burger, and then onions, and then the tomato, and then the lettuce at the top. It seems to work.
That works. I will do, if I'm doing like the works on it, I'll do the sauces on the buns, and then I'll do the burger, cheese, lettuce, tomato, onion on top, because the onion kind of makes little pockets for the sauce to go into. So it's slippy slidey. And that's also why I like bacon, even though I don't have to have bacon in a burger. But if you're making like a massive burger, that creates like another texture thing friction to keep it from slip and sliding. Yeah.
Yeah. It's like grip tape. Yeah.
Yeah. For your burger.
That's a good way to look
bacon,
at that. Yeah.
It's like grip tape.
Put it on a t-shirt.
They need to hire us.
I know, right? But yeah, like burger was good. And then, sides of like always roasted. Well, we did roasted broccoli, which is awesome. Just by itself, a little salt and pepper. I did Chicago style hot dogs this week.
Oh, where was my invite?
Dude, they're so good.
I know. I love them.
I need to make them more.
Yeah. I probably already told this story, but when me and Lila went to Chicago on vacation, that's also where I proposed. I ate a Chicago style hot dog every day. I think we were there for 10 days. I ate a Chicago style hot dog every day, always from a different place. And there might have been a day or two where I ate 2 a day. We would be walking, and on the way to a restaurant, if I passed a hot dog place, I would have to get a hot dog because I had to try it, and I was obsessed.
So do you remember your favorite?
Yes, it was a hot dog stand in front of the stairs of the aquarium.
Okay.
The Shed Aquarium. And it was fucking awesome. And then when we left and I read an article and that hot dog stand had won best Chicago hot dog.
Oh, so there you go. Yeah.
Yeah, it was very good. It was like a tiny little hot dog, cart. Yeah.
That's amazing.
They did it right. Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, I did split top buns that I grilled. Then on the bun first, I'm going to build it up to the top. A little bit of mustard, sweet relish, hot dog. On the one side was sliced tomato that I had lightly hit with celery salt.
That's the masterpiece.
On the right side, I did slices of like the thin sliced sandwich pickles.
Yeah.
So it would fit in well because I didn't have sport peppers, but I chopped in half pepperoncinis and laid them on top of the pickles.
Yeah.
And then the onion, more mustard, and celery salt. I know I'm forgetting something, but
that sounds about right. Onions?
Yeah.
Do you put onions on yours? Yeah.
I do, yeah.
Dude, I was so obsessed with Chicago dogs that I special ordered the sport peppers.
Right.
And the like neon green relish that they use in Chicago.
Yeah.
But now I find that they sell those sport peppers in like the Giant, like at the regular grocery store. I can't
find them anywhere.
They're not everywhere, but they're at the Giant in Hamden. Yeah, I've seen them there. So
yeah, I didn't forget anything. Okay, I'm just looking at like kind of the recipe I went off of. Yeah, the tomatoes are like tomatoes on hot dogs, fucking really good.
I know I was totally against it until I had it, and I was like, okay, I was wrong. But what makes it is the celery salt.
Yeah,
that is what makes it magic.
And the pickle and the pepper too. Like when I was in Chicago, before we even like as soon as we got into the city, I saw a what is it? Oh damn it.
The airport stand?
No, we were driving in, so it was like oh damn.
The rest stop?
Yeah, it was like it's like their famous hot dog thing. I was like,
Vienna?
What's that?
Is it Vienna? Is that their hot dog brand?
Well, it's a brand, but it's like a fast food,
Yeah, I don't remember what that is. Yeah, I also had a very good hot dog near their baseball stadium.
Oh, really?
I don't remember what it was called. Yeah, I mean, you gotta have a good hot dog spot next to a baseball stadium. But man, now I want one. But it is officially not a Chicago hot dog without celery salt. It just isn't.
Right. And it makes such a big difference. And I'm like, the other thing that's funny about it is like you're eating it and you're like, oh, this is just Old Bay. Like, most of Old Bay is just this flavor, right? Like,
it is celery seed. I don't think, you know what? I think in the last couple years, it doesn't have as much celery seed as it used to.
It doesn't at all.
It's like, we need to ask your buddy.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Super
like,
Dog.
What's going on there?
There's my brain. Super Dog. Super Dog with a DAWG. Super Dog.
Mm-hmm. I don't even think I went to a Super Dog. Everywhere I went was like little spots, independent spots.
But they're really cute packaging, and they've been around forever. Here, let me show you real quick because I had to look it up. It was driving crazy.
Did you
there you go.
Buy some hot dogs to go? Oh yeah, they are cute.
Oh yeah, I ate 2, and then I took 2 with me. Yeah.
Yeah. So. Oh, and it's the poppy seed buns. That's also the other thing, what makes it. Mm-hmm.
I couldn't find those.
Yeah, those are hard.
So like that.
What? You didn't make your own poppy seed buns?
You know what?
The fuck? What the fuck, John? Very disappointing.
I know. There's a point where I'm just like, you know what? Fuck this shit.
Yeah.
Besides that, I made saag paneer. That was actually really good. I did like paneer and tofu and.
Nice. Did you buy paneer or did you make your own cheese?
I bought it.
God damn, John.
I know. I'm failing. And paneer is actually really good to make if you do it the day before. Like, it's really easy.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, the hardest part is waiting for it to drain and firm up.
Which is why you got to do it the day before.
Yes. And people who don't know, paneer is a homemade cheese that's super easy, used in Indian food as like kind of a protein option. And it's really, and like you drain it and like cube it up, and you can like actually like pan fry it and get a little texture on it and put it in a like green sauce or whatever kind of sauce. And it doesn't like just melt away. Yeah. It has like lovely texture, kind of like tofu. Yeah.
Take a gallon of milk that's non-pasteurized, bring it to 205. Don't boil it. And then once it gets to about there, add lemon juice. Like, let's say the juice of a half of a lemon.
Yeah, you'll know it's enough when it starts curdling.
Yeah, and then it curdles, and then you just add some salt, mix it together till it's all really chunky, strain it in a cheesecloth, wring it out, and then you can mold it into whatever mold you want, whether you want it like square or rectangle, then weigh it out. Weigh it down to make sure it's got to be something that drains, by the way. And then let it go overnight. And the next day you got cheese, pressed cheese.
Yeah. It's very creamy and mild.
You have cottage cheese as soon as you strain it. Like, that's
pretty much. Yeah. Or like ricotta. Yeah. You can kind of a version of ricotta.
Well, ricotta.
And you can use any vinegar.
Ricotta is when you make it and then you take the whey and then you re-cook it. Oh. Yeah, it's cooked twice. Yeah.
I did not know that.
Yeah, but
yeah, I wouldn't do that.
Not to be actually, but actually.
Yeah, and you can use any acid. Like, I've used red wine vinegar, champagne vinegar, white vinegar. If you don't have a lemon
or rennet.
Yeah. I mean, that's what cheese is. It's a curdling agent, and then it's separated. Yeah.
And it's easy. And then, so the saag paneer was onion, garlic. I used actually, a lot of recipes call for baby spinach, but it's super expensive. So I just got a giant thing of regular spinach. Just leave spinach in a bag. You cook it down, cook it together. You add all the spices, which is actually the big key, is just the spice mixture.
Do you use fenugreek?
I do.
Nice.
I also use brown mustard seed.
Oh, yeah.
Which are little guys that pop in the
I used to go to this place in DC that was so fucking good. And I got to know the owners, and their saag was made with half spinach, half broccally. And it was all cooked down, so you couldn't tell that there was broccoli in it, but it pureed, made the flavor really very interesting and friggin' tasty. Yeah.
I could see
and you
that.
You don't want too much because broccoli has a lot of water in it, but it's so good. It works beautifully.
The scary thing about putting the broccoli in is if it overcooks, then you get that funky fart smell because it's a brassica.
Well, it's not bad. Like, you're cooking it, you obviously don't have to worry about like keeping it crunchy or anything because it's pureed. But it adds like a lovely roundness. You know how like cooked cabbage gets? Yeah. It's kind of more like that than like it is sort of warm, stinky broccoli. Yeah.
Warm, silky. Yeah, I know what you're saying. That's awesome.
Yeah.
And then like, you kind of puree that sauce together, and then you add coconut milk, more salt and pepper to taste, and then then you add the tofu and the paneer. Then put that over rice and good to go. I've been adding different stuff to it. So like different hot sauces. I have mango chutney that's really good with it. Like, I would just put that on bread and then dip that into it. It's fucking really good. So
yeah,
that was our meatless Monday dish. So
nice.
Yeah.
I've been trying to keep it simple. We had one of our easy dinner nights was sausages. So whenever I visit my friends Leanne and Andy in Durham, North Carolina, that is, they have a farmer's market where the sausage lady
like a box of sausages.
Yeah, and a ridiculous amount of sausages. Moonbelly Meat Company is what it's called if you want to look it up. And she's amazing. Like she's worked in she's worked in very well-known butcheries. Like she knows how to do it all. And then she moved to Durham and is making her own sausages and other things and selling them at markets, and hopefully she expands. And I don't think you can get it shipped yet, but definitely keep an eye out. I'll let everyone know when you can.
They have a sausage making class.
Yeah, her sausages are ridiculous, but like all different flavors. She does a pizza sausage that's amazing. She does a pho sausage. The classics, of course, like Italian and things like that. But I had a Korean sausage, and it kind of tasted like the bulgogi flavors.
Is she a
but
Korean
in a sausage?
Lady?
I don't know if she's Korean. She is Asian, but I never asked if she's Korean. And I never ask her name, which is probably not nice. But even though I see her like only like a couple times a year, but I go and I literally tell her, give me one of everything. And then also the ones that I know I like, give me an extra. But anyway, since it was a Korean flavored sausage, instead of a bun, I did sam, like beautiful red leaf lettuce, veggies, Korean chili, gochujang, and I did a big wrap with lettuce wrap, and I just put the whole cooked sausage in and ate it like a hot dog,
shit.
As a giant Korean wrap. And it was fucking good.
Oh, I'm reading.
I bet you're jealous.
I'm super jealous. I'm kind of flashing through. There's a big article about her and her company and her life. Her name's Anna Gibala. So yeah, their website doesn't have like the stuff that they make for their their shop page. It's just the sausage making class.
Yeah, I mean, I
she makes what
she wants to make.
make.
Yeah. Oh, check out her Insta. She puts a lot on her Instagram.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, I'm pretty much through everything. I do have Leanne and Andy visiting soon, and I'm making them bring me up some sausage.
Yes.
So I'll save some for you.
Yeah, dude. I'll totally just give you money, and you can just fucking send it to them.
Hell yeah. I'm still on my biscuit obsession. I've been perfecting the biscuits, and they turning out great. And I'm just trying to work on like doing it consistently. I've been finding like getting the moisture content of the dough right is really important. Yeah. Especially because I've been doing the angel biscuits, the yeasted biscuits that you rise it overnight in the fridge. And if there's not enough moisture, it doesn't rise.
Right. So you're trying to figure out hydration.
Yeah. So it's a little more buttermilk than your classic biscuit recipe.
Because you're giving it more time to hydrate.
But anyway, and I have for dinner tomorrow, I'm bringing back an old favorite recipe.
Okay.
The beef stroganoff, which I used to make all the time, and then for some reason I forgot about.
You motherfucker.
Yeah.
We are on the same fucking wavelength.
Really?
I was thinking about that for Sunday.
It's so good. And also I found several years ago my favorite recipe that like I'll tweak it here and there, but it's so much better than like classic beef stroganoff, but it's a Bon Appetit recipe. Okay. And from many, many years ago. And she puts tomato paste. I know that isn't like classic, but just a little touch of that is beautiful. And she uses a little fish sauce.
Nice.
Just a little drop. And like just that little bit of umami makes it so much more interesting. It adds a little acidity, the tomato paste. And it's like, it's not a lot. It's like the tiniest bit. It's not a tomatoey sauce.
Right.
Yeah.
It just buffs up the beef flavor.
Yeah, exactly. And like we'll switch up the meats. Like this, I got some skirt steak for tomorrow because it was cheap and looked good. Excuse me. But
that's amazing. You found cheap skirt steak.
Yeah, it was at where did I get that? I don't remember where I was.
I was gonna say it's probably Costco.
No, it wasn't at Costco. I didn't need that much skirt steak. It's just the two of us. And I've been so proud we've been finally cleaning out the freezer and like eating all the things in there because it was getting out of hand. Yeah, but like we'll switch it up. Like I'll use venison, bison, like I can get like interesting meats. That is a recipe that really works well. And we always do it over egg noodles. You got to do it over the egg noodles.
Always over egg noodles. I'm the same way. Yeah, totally.
Yeah. And it's so comforting. I'm glad I remembered it while it's still a little chilly because it's such a comforting winter dish.
Yeah, because I was like totally last week. I'm like, here comes spring's coming, baby. We're going to get some spring recipes. And like when I made the Chicago dogs last week, like it's like roasted asparagus, getting in the mood and shit. Yeah. And then this stuff happened. I'm like, fuck. Okay, well, what can I do that's like comforting that we haven't done like a million times or have done this winter? And I was like, shit, stroganoff. Like, it's so good. And it holds.
It's like, so good.
The leftovers are really good, that kind of thing. Mm-hmm. So, yeah. Wow. That's really funny.
Yeah. And if like the leftovers, you don't feel like making more noodles, it's really good with just crusty bread.
Yeah.
And so good. Yeah. I've also been making a lot of pasta. And like, we're sick of like the regular red sauce. So I've been doing like shrimp scampi. I've been doing like a half-assed clams and linguine with like frozen clams that I'll get at Di Pasquale's. They have like the frozen clam bits in its own juices. Yeah. And just use that instead of like getting fresh clams. Fucking delicious. Yeah. Nothing wrong with it. And shrimp scampi. I've been doing that, which is so easy. Very classic. And I've been I always forget, but now I'm getting better at remembering is doing the baking soda, like marinating the shrimp in the salt and the baking soda. And, it keeps them plump, like that beautiful shrimp crunch.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. It's a Kenji thing.
Yeah.
Kenji Lopez-Alt thing.
I think I've seen that before, but I've never done it.
Bro,
it makes a difference. Life.
It's huge difference. It makes it a lot harder to overcook your shrimp. And you get that lovely, like, don't you love it when shrimp has a crunch? Yeah. That's what it does.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And it just needs to marinate for like 10 minutes in the fridge. And it's kind of like a brine too, because you put salt in it also. Yeah. And so I'll do that and then cook it off with a ton of butter and garlic and noodles, obviously, and lots of lemon zest and lemon juice and parsley. And it's fucking good and comforting. Really good. Yeah.
Oh, I got to tell you about a pizza I invented.
Oh, okay.
I'm pretty sure I invented this.
Okay.
So Crosby had a dance a week or two ago. I think I talked about this on the podcast before, but I haven't talked about it to you. So, all the parents come over and they hang out at our house waiting for the kids to come back. So then I start making pizzas for the parents, and then when the kids come, the pepperoni and the cheese.
The classics.
Out, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
So everybody loves my pizza where
pistachio.
The pistachio, the pistachio and the sausage and the red onion. That's the first one to come out. The second one, I had a brainwave, and I was like, all right, well, I'll make a meatball pizza because that sounded good to me the night before. And then when I was prepping everything the night before, I was like, I don't want like a normal meatball. I want it to kind of be like meatloaf meatball. So like I made a panade, which we'll talk about for the pate, but like kind of made like a pate meatball, panade and then some onions and garlic in the mix that were cooked. And then I was like, the one thing that I love about my meatloaf is that I put pureed chicken livers in it. It makes it really silky. And
I forgot about that.
And I was like, but I don't have that. Oh shit. I got liverwurst from fucking.
Ooh.
Yeah, I had liverwurst that I just gotten from Binkert's. So I cut a chunk of that. Yeah. I cut a chunk of that out and then just mashed it by hand in there, and then made the balls and cooked them off. Holy shit, dude. It made such a big
Ooh.
difference.
Yeah.
So then half the meatballs. Then I was like, well, I don't want a tomato sauce. So I made like a roasted garlic cream sauce.
Oh.
So
you went all out.
Yeah. Because it was just one of those things like, okay, now that I know what the meatball tastes like, what should the rest of this taste like?
Mm-hmm.
And it was all set off by another thing that I already had made, which was chimichurri sauce.
Ooh.
So this was the pizza. Dough, roasted garlic cream sauce, mozzarella and smoked mozzarella cheese, meatballs, bake that, and then when it comes out, hit it with the chimichurri sauce. And then
oh shit, that sounds great.
It was really fucking good.
Yeah, I request that next time we come over and have pizza.
Yeah, people were losing their fucking minds. Like,
oh shit.
Leanna was like, this might be one of the best things you've ever come up with. I was like, okay.
Speaking of pizza, me and Lila finally got over to Frank's Pizza. Have you heard of Frank's Pizza?
No.
It's up near like Rosedale.
Okay.
And
so by me.
They're all over the place, and it is the best pizza in Baltimore right now.
What?
It's like a New York slice, classic. It's so freaking good, John.
Pizza.
Frank's Pizza. The crust is amazing. But you definitely do the pizza justice by going there and eating it there. When it comes out hot. They use good cheese. They use the good cup pepperoni and the sauce. Like the dough is good, but the sauce is like so fucking good. Like me, I hate a dry pizza. Like the dough is the most important, then the sauce, then the cheese, right? For me, that's the combo. And the sauce is always disappointing, or there's not enough, or there's too much. Like their sauce is so good. It tastes really fresh and bright, and the balance of sweet and acidity is like fucking spot on. Like look it up. They have an Instagram, Frank's Pizza. They're actually right now is it Las Vegas? Like the big pizza competition?
Oh,
they do every year, like the
okay.
huge thing. They're there right now, so I don't think they're open. They're like closing for a week to do that.
Are they called Frank's Pizza and Pasta?
Yes.
Okay.
But dude, go. We've been wanting to go for a really long time, and finally we went this weekend. And and they do the Detroit. Is it the Detroit style pizza? Like it's kind of like a grandma pie.
Yeah.
They do that too, and we got a crab Old Bay Detroit pie. So we got both. We got so much food.
Wow, their menu looks good.
Yeah, dude. But we got a pepperoni pizza and then the crab granny pie, and we ate way too much. I was like, it's okay, we'll have leftovers. And we had a couple, but like,
oh shit, they got sausage rolls.
Yeah, they got it all.
Ham and pepperoni roll, yes.
I want to go back and try some of their pasta because it looks good. It's just like and they have like good seating in there.
Okay.
But it's not like a restaurant, like you order at the counter and you get a number and they take it out to you.
Right.
Which is perfect. Like,
it's an overly,
to be honest, yeah, highly recommend.
Cool. Yeah.
I kind of want to go again this weekend.
Awesome. Thank you. Yeah.
Yeah. If you want to go one weekend, let me know. We can meet up with you.
Definitely.
Yeah. Cool. Oh, I forgot we're recording a podcast.
Yeah. Man,
we were just talking pizza.
Anybody in the Baltimore area? There you go. There's your update.
Should we have our meetup? Our Cooking School podcast meetup at Frank's Pizza. Awesome. Yeah. Anyway, going back to speaking of pate. You like that? You like that transition right there?
That was terrible. All right, so let's go into the pate part 2. Pate 2 part 2. For those who don't remember, the episode we had last week or 3 weeks ago was on pates and terrines and galantines and ballotines, and I'm gonna bust through some stuff right now. So I'm going to start off with the history of the word pate.
Sweet.
The term pate is derived from the French word pâte or paste. This word has two applications in culinary French. One, a paste created by grinding or pulverizing a food substance, as in pâté d'almond or almond paste. And 2, a flour and water paste or pastry, as in pâté sucre or sugar pastry, which is when you get tarts, that crunchy stuff at the bottom that's kind of like a cookie, that's a pâté sucre. Confusion arises when food historians attempt to explain the origin of the term. Does the term paste refer to ground up meat, or does it refer to pastry in which the meat was wrapped? According to most chefs and food authorities, the correct name is for a ground meat mixture baked in a crust, pâté and croûte. And the full and proper term for a ground meat mixture baked in an earthenware dish is a pâté in terrine. Therefore, it is safe to assume the word pâté means meat paste. So, you can make a pâté and not have it in a crust. You can have it in a crust, and it technically isn't a terrine because a terrine is actually cooked in a terrine. Technically, a English, like an English pork pie, is a pâté. It's just a. Just a.
Loose, very loose.
It's a
meat-wise.
A bigger grind. It's not ground down to a paste.
Yeah.
But still
it's closer to a country pâté.
Exactly. But even a country pâté or a meatloaf is a paste, considering where it started as a solid muscle.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So there's different types of paste. Like a mousseline is a very fine, very delicate, you see a lot of like seafood mousselines, or something that's really gentle and that kind of thing. And pâtés are like another general word that they use for when you make a pâté. The thing that it's made out of is called a force meat, and that's because it's forced through a grinder or forced through a screen or a tammy, it's basically like a really fine screen to get all of the chunks and gristle and whatever that's in the meat, and then you just get this smooth, but it's forced through the screen. So a force meat, that it's sort of interchangeable.
Would you consider a hot dog as a type of pâté?
Absolutely.
Ah,
yeah.
Okay.
I mean, I would.
Yeah.
It's a sausage, but it's still a
forced
pâté.
meat. Yeah.
A pâté and a skin is a sausage.
Yes. Oh, okay. There you go.
A pâté in a terrine is a terrine. A pâté wrapped in its own skin is a Ballotine.
It's an en croûte. Yeah. Or yes.
It's that kind of thing. Like, but it's still a pâté. It's still ground meat spiced with things presented in, pâté is the origin. Those other things are the secondary.
Yeah, that makes more sense explaining it like that. I get it.
Yeah, I've been so fucking knees deep in this shit. Like, and it's really confusing because some books say one thing and some books say another. And, I'm kind of going on certain people that I believe in, like Michael Ruhlman and Brian Polson. We had talked about that before because I have their book Charcuterie. Yeah. Which you have this book too, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Which is a great book about making charcuterie. But in the back, they have like, a pâté and terrine section, which is really, really well done. And they have a lot of really easy recipes. So
I think why it gets so confusing and just becomes this broader subject is because, when you think of pâté, you first think of French pâté, but then when you think about all the different pâtés all over the world, it really expands it and expands the definition of it, I think. And so it's not as strict now than it was probably early pate time
Right.
in Europe.
It's just that pate is a French word, right?
Yes.
Every culture kind of has their own pate that they use. You know, like if you consider like dumplings, the filling's a pate. It's just
it's true.
It's just using a French word to describe another. You know, like it's that kind of thing. Technically, a tortellini could be a pate, right? So,
yeah.
So it's
for sure.
It's just a really finely, or not even finely, but just a coarse meat paste, which is the thing. And there's different ways to make it. So, let's see. So the characteristics of a pate, it can be coarse. Pate can have a coarse chopped texture or smooth consistency. The meat mixed is seasoned with various herbs, spices, garlics, onions, shallots, or vegetables, and even alcohol can be incorporated like red or white wine or brandy. Some other kinds of pate, like the head cheese or fish terrine, will be made with an aspic. Aspic is a gelatin that is seasoned with, normally a stock or, just salt and pepper.
Meat jello is what I like to call it.
Yes, exactly. It's meat jello. It's basically a glue that keeps it together. It's a savory jelly made from meat or fish stock that has been boiled long enough to release natural gelatin to have it set everything once it's chilled. So, a pate en croûte is a force meat baked inside of a crust of pastry dough. Most are made with a fine grind or smooth force meat and contain one or more internal garnishes. The space that is formed between the crust and the force meat after baked is after it's cooled, because you have this meat inside the crust and the meat contracts because it shrinks. And then there's like a gap between the crust and the meat. A lot of times that's filled with aspic to then just sort of fortify the pate en croûte, but also you get delicious aspic. You get another shot at adding more flavor.
Yeah.
And then the internal garnishes we'll go into, which is always like, that's the art of pate, where
the seasoning. Yeah.
Well, no, the garnishes. So like, it could be for like a country pate, it could be like, just chunks of ham and pistachio. So when you cut it, it doesn't just look like meatloaf. You get like,
the pretty, layers. I love that.
So like when I do my meatloafs, it's basically a giant French country pate. So I do prunes and pistachios in mine. Right? And so when you cut it, you get these like little variations of things that you see, and it's just not meat. So it makes it look prettier. But then other pates en croûte or terrines or galantines or ballotines, you can put like fully cooked pork tenderloins or something down the middle. So when you cut it, it's in the middle and it gives it like a bullseye look. So that's always fun.
Layers. I like it when it's layered.
Yeah, exactly. So a terrine is a force meat baked in a form or a vessel without a pastry crust. The vessel is traditionally lined with pork fat back or caul fat to protect and insulate the force meat. Many terrines are made from a coarse grind force meat and have a rustic texture. Others are made from a medium grind force meat. Terrines may also include internal garnishes. So when I make a terrine, I line my terrine mold with bacon.
Hell yeah.
And I do like a country pate. So you line it with bacon, put the pate in there, fold all the fucking bacon back over it, and then you bake it. And then once it comes out, you put like a heavy weight on top of it to press it down, to compress it. And then once everything sits, you pull it out of the terrine, and you got like this cylindrical block of meat, compacted meat. And then if you want, you can serve it as is. I like to cool it down. And then before I serve it, I will put it back on the flat top to sort of kind of crisp up the outside a little bit more. And then cool it down and then slice it. It's so
I've never done that with terrine. It's usually served just chilled or room temp for me at like restaurants.
And that's perfectly fine. I just like to sometimes just kind of render out some more of that fat, you know?
Yeah. Add a little something.
Yeah. And it scorches it a little bit. So you get like a little bit Maillard reaction taste. And it's just an added thing. And then I cool it down a second time. And then, because slicing it while it's warm sucks. Everything falls apart.
Yeah. Yeah. I love how, like the pork, pork terrines are absolutely delicious. You can use all different kinds of meat, but my favorite, rabbit terrines are so good. I've never made it myself, and I know it's a little gross for some people, but I like it.
Why is it gross for people?
I don't know, because they're cute. People get weirded out by cute things. Yes.
Hey, look, cows are cute as shit.
They are, but they're
just monstrous.
Tastes good.
Yeah. Well, rabbit tastes great.
I'm a monster. I can admit it.
Yeah.
But La Cuchara every now and then does a rabbit terrine, and it's banging.
Okay, so then Galantine and Ballotine. Well, Galantine, Galantine, and Ballotine, Ballottine, are force meats wrapped in poultry skin or meat. A Galantine consists of a poultry-based force meat wrapped in skin of a fowl. It is normally formed in a large cylindrical shape. In modern Galantines, the skin is usually lined with a thin layer of poultry meat, breast meat, and then the interior is a force meat made from the leg with an addition of pork and pork fat. Internal garnishes are usually added, and the assembled Galantine is poached in poultry stock. So both of these, let me get to Ballotine and I'll describe it. Ballotines are the subject of controversy among charcuters and garde-manger chefs. Some believe Ballotine is just another name for Galantine. Other sources assert that a Ballotine is a force meat wrapped in a butterflied, flattened piece of meat and is never made with poultry. It's like a big pain in the ass. So you can, take slices of chicken breast and pound them out and put them on top of a sheet of plastic wrap and then put your force meat on top of that, then roll that, completely roll it in the plastic wrap after it's a tube, add more plastic, tighten it up, make sure that both ends are knotted to hell. Then you put it in your liquid to basically sous vide it. That's what people think ballotines are. And a galantine is, if you can do it, you're the man or the woman, where you just take a whole chicken and take the skin off all in one piece, which is a thing you should learn how to do. It's really fun. And then you have this giant piece of skin that you can then take, your chicken apart and grind all the meat that's dark and add in some of the breast meat if you want, poach the other breast, and then just take the force meat after you've put all the spices in, put that on the skin, and then line the middle of that with some of the sliced breast meat, roll that in the skin, and then again, lots of plastic wrap. And then
sous vide.
Sous vide it, but a lot of times what they do is they poke the plastic wrap with forks or pins or whatever, so that the stock can get into the skin and flavor it. Just so it, the plastic wrap at that point is just to keep it together. Then you sear it off on a flat top afterwards,
so
after
the skin gets crispy.
Crispy.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And those are so fucking good.
They are good. They're good if they're not overcooked. That's what's nice about kind of the sous vide method of it.
Right.
Yeah. And I've also heard a lot of like modern chefs will use, I forget what that stuff is, but it's like meat glue pretty much. Yeah. And it really like has it hold together when you slice it. And it sounds weird, but it's really delicious.
Yeah.
It's like super, super fancy sausage.
Yeah. And no matter what, when you use a little bit of that meat glue, it's not going to fall apart.
Mm-hmm, it's just fall apart. Yeah. Especially when you slice it.
Right.
You won't get all the pieces. Cause like that, not this past year, but the year before, I took all the skin off of my turkey and I didn't do any like pureed meat, but then I took all the meat and rolled it in the skin and then wrapped it, sous vide'd it, and then seared it off.
Yeah.
And put it in the oven to finish it off. And it turned out great. It was definitely an experience getting the entire turkey skin in one piece. Yeah. That was pretty fun. Yeah, but that turned out pretty damn good.
And it's so good. And I say it's easy because it is easy. It's just time consuming.
Yes.
I mean, it really is, but it's so worth it. Like if you want a fancy dinner where people think you're super fancy, do a Galantine, watch a video or two, and you'll see how easy it is. But it's because the hard part really is just pureeing the meat, Yeah. Well, the hard part's getting the skin off. But
you can use your food processor.
But I've also
easy.
No, that's exactly. You put it in the food processor. Yeah. That's what I do. Cube up the meat, put it on a tray, put it in the freezer till it's almost frozen, then puree the shit out of it with all the spices and stuff, and done. You're done. But I've also done them where I don't have it all in one piece of skin, and you just kind of Frankenstein it. You put it all together in sheets, but once it's all cooked together, it sticks.
Yeah, and if you're worried about it, you can wrap it first with butcher's twine.
Yeah.
And then wrap it up, and that's just a little extra support.
I always wrap the ends in butcher twine, even though I've knotted the shit out of them.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, and then we have, let me get back to this, pate roulade, which, here we go again, assembled and cooked in the same way as a Galantine, but not wrapped in a poultry skin. Slices of cooked like raw meat, ham, or even leafy vegetables form a wrapper. It's also wrapped in plastic film and poached. And then finally, a mousseline pate, which is the smoothest of most refined forms of pate, and it's made from an emulsion of pureed raw meat, eggs, and cream. When a mousseline is formed into a loaf or a log, cooked and cooled, it can be sliced in the same manner as a terrine. So most of these things have 4 basic elements. You have the force meat. It's an emulsified mixture of ground meat and fat. It's an emulsification. So like a hot dog is an emulsification of, beef and pork fat. That's ground up and then ground to a paste, put in a tube, poached. Hot dog. That's a force meat. Then there are internal garnishes. Pieces of food placed within the force meat to add texture, flavor, and visual interest. Internal garnishes are added to pate force meats in 2 ways. By either like, you can just kind of like lay them in there haphazardly, or you can layer them in there purposefully. By varying the internal garnishes, a charcuterie or garde-manger chef can make several products out of one basic force meat. So then there are liners or wrappers, and that's where we get the, vegetable wrappers or the pastry, and then sealers, which can be, when you make a chicken liver mousse, you put it in a container and top it with chicken fat to seal it up. Or like we were talking about the pate and croûte, you seal it with the aspic. So they all have that kind of thing. And then in Ballotines and Galantines, the sealer is the skin.
Nice.
Yeah. So normally you eat these at room temperature. They're never eaten hot or cold. I mean, they're eaten either room temperature or cold, never eaten hot.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's, we can go into the fucking millions of, pate de campagne, which is country pate. It's pork and liver and garlics and herbs, or, pate and croûte, which is what we talked about. It's in a pastry crust. Pate de canard, which is duck. Pate forestier, which I was like, oh shit, this sounds good, which is wild mushrooms and chicken livers and herbs, right? Like something really light.
Yeah, funky.
Yeah, right. Pate
so just never ending.
Yeah, pate de gibier, which are game meats. So it's like you were saying, venison or wild boar. And then there's pate de poisson, which is fish, cream, and herbs.
Seafood pates. Yeah,
really, really smooth. My favorite is the pate de campagne, which is just basically meatloaf. Just taken to another level. Have you ever worked with caul fat?
I have once, and it's a lot of fun.
That's my answer.
Pretty easy. Yeah, it's not. It's fat and some tendon meat net.
It's
that you can wrap anything with.
It's the layer of fat that is around the stomach.
Yes.
Of a cow. So it's like a net of fat that wraps it, and it comes out in one big piece. And you can use it as a sort of a thing to keep everything in, but as it cooks, a lot of that fat melts away and it flavors the dish. So I'm showing Jeni a picture right now. So like, as you can see, someone took the time to put like what looks like almost like a parsley circle somehow. Like they must have
a little puree.
They must have rolled something in a parsley thing and then put that in the puree. But then there's like a giant chunk of, it looks like pork belly that they used as the buffer that they wrapped the thing in, and then wrap that in caul fat, and then skin that with aspic. So
and put it in a terrine.
In a giant terrine.
It kind of reminds me of like, sauce, like intestines are used for sausages. Right. It's just, it holds the meat stuff together.
That's exactly what it is. It's just different forms of sausage, kind of.
Yeah.
So like, okay, here's a really good example I'm showing Jeni right now of like terrines with caul fat. Caul fat's really beautiful. It's like spiderwebby almost.
It looks like a bunch of nerves almost.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's really organic looking because, it is, but
yeah. I mean, and it's like delicate to work with, but not crazy delicate. Like it's easy still.
And I've only done it once, like you, like.
Yeah. We didn't do it as a terrine though. We did it like as a more like a roulade.
Oh, okay.
Type thing. Yeah. But either way, what's my favorite pate? I don't
That's
know.
what I was about to ask you, because we're at the end of this, because I could go on for like a million years, but like I wanted to just do a overview of what each thing is, and because there's so many different recipes. Like I would recommend, if anybody wanted to start somewhere, it would be with the pate de campagne, and that's campagne. It's country pate. So it's literally like pork shoulder and chicken livers and onions and parsley and garlic, black pepper, salt, pate spices, which is, you can buy that or just make it. It's like clove and a bunch of other stuff. And then eggs and brandy and cream.
Okay, so I have three. I have three favorite pates. Okay. That's as low as I can go. Classic chicken liver pate.
Absolutely.
Friggin' delicious. And to be honest, I like the Jewish version, like the chopped liver.
Okay.
There's lots of hard-boiled egg mixed in with it.
Schmaltz and shit.
It's so good. Yeah, and schmaltz, so good. My second favorite would be like a rabbit or a wild game country pate, something really interesting. And it's usually served as a terrine, I'd have to say. for that type. And my last favorite, the outside the box favorite pate, has to be scrapple.
Oh, yeah. Good call.
Scrapple.
Yeah.
I love scrapple. It is a pate. I would consider it like a terrine.
Like Spam
right?
kind of is too.
Yeah, it is. I mean, I love Spam.
Yeah.
Like friggin' Spam musubi.
Yeah.
Like the Hawaiian Spam with the rice and the seaweed. Oh,
dude, just
so
give
good.
me fucking pan-fried Spam with a dippy egg. I'm done.
I grew up with Spam fried rice. With Spam kimchi fried rice.
So good.
Yeah. And don't poo-poo on Spam, you guys.
No, it's amazing.
Been feeding the world for many years. I mean, it's not great for you, but I hate it when people are snobbish. I hate it when people are snobbish about it.
Yeah.
Like, don't do that.
I would say, and also in order of like probably what I make. Again, chicken liver mousse, which I actually make a lot because when I make meatloaf, I have to buy a thing of chicken livers and I always have chicken livers left over.
Yeah.
So then I make a thing of chicken liver mousse, which is unbelievably easy to make.
Yeah.
Just look up a recipe. It's fucking dead simple. Then pate de campagna, which, I mean, dude, it's literally just like meatloaf wrapped in bacon. It's just small and it's served cold. And we'll talk about what we serve it with. And then I do a vegetable terrine. Once a year.
Look at you.
Yeah, which I really like. And it's, roasted, like really slow roasted tomatoes, almost to where they're dried. But then layers of that, layers of eggplant that are thinly sliced, layers of roasted red pepper, and then there are layers of like maybe a little cheese in the middle, and then on top of each other, on top of each other, on top of each other, pressed down. And then you don't cook it. Like you got to cook everything ahead of time. Then you sort of lay everything, cover it in plastic in the terrine, and then press it. And then just let that sit overnight. And then everything just sort of solidifies. And it's so fucking good. It's amazing.
Yum.
On sandwiches, on salads. So, yeah.
I wish people made seafood terrines more often. We don't really see that very.
Which is weird because we're in
around
Baltimore and nobody make like.
Yeah.
And also like, so we've talked about.
Like fish and shrimp.
Right. Like we've talked about this before, but like the reason that pates and stuff were made was because there was always scraps left over from butchering animals, like to get the big pieces of meat. So
yeah, and it preserves it more because a lot of those like leftover parts are highly they go bad quickly.
Yeah.
So perishable. Yeah. So this kind of like extends the life of them doing this. But I mean, I feel like Asian countries do seafood pate a lot because they do like the fish balls, which is pretty much pate. It's like mousse. It's fish mousse, shrimp mousse, and then they what do you call it? Cook them in like stock, boiled stock and stuff. That's just delicious.
But like even shrimp toast, right?
Oh yeah, that's a seafood pate.
Totally. Shrimp toast or shrimp dumplings. Like,
have you ever made homemade shrimp toast?
I have. It's
so good. But it's so
bad.
Fat, greasy.
Oh, it's so greasy.
Because that bread really soaks up the oil.
Every time I order American Chinese food, I order shrimp toast because it's probably my favorite appetizer.
Yeah.
It's so good.
It has to be. So many places, they'll make it too greasy. It's like your oil is not hot enough.
Yeah.
Like you put that in
a lot of times
the oil's too low.
I'll let it sit on some paper towels.
It's too greasy. Yeah.
So then,
all right.
We'll just get in real quick, like the last 2 minutes here. What do you like to serve with yours?
Usually I'm doing a room temperature pate. So like if it's chicken liver, it's like, again, like a little Jewish style where I'll hard boil some eggs and I'll separate the whites and the yolks and like finely chop it and then serve that as a garnish on the sides. Kind of like when you do like caviar and you have like the egg whites and the egg yolks, like that. And then you can like put that
so you can
on top.
Mix and match.
Cornichons, of course. I feel like cornichons go with every kind of pate because it's it cuts the fat and things like that, and it's like a palate cleanser. Toast or bread, toast points or bread. What I really hate is when people thinly slice baguette and toast it to the point of like it will literally cut the inside of your mouth, break your mouth. Like, no, that's not good. I think a lot of people do it because they can make it, or at least restaurants do it because they can make it ahead of time and then just like serve it. No, it has to be just like a beautiful crusty bread baguette, or
a little
like
soft
lightly.
in the middle.
Yeah, a little soft in the middle, or like grilled. I like grilled bread.
Yes.
Served with some pâtés. That's nice. Some jams, like, or like chutneys, like sweet, a little something sweet.
Exactly.
Especially like gamey stuff like livers and things like that, like sweet. Like again, with chicken liver pâté, I will do, like a cherry chutney or, you know, something like that. Sometimes when I'm even making chicken liver pate, I'll put in a little chutney, like from fig jam to sour cherry chutney or something like that. It really helps.
You're hitting all my answers.
Kind of balance that out. Now, and that's why also with scrapple, when people, I don't know, we've talked about this before, but in Baltimore, people order a scrapple egg and cheese with grape jelly as a breakfast sandwich. And it's a classic, but it makes sense. Think about it. Pate, something sweet. It totally works.
Yeah, my answer was gonna be exactly what yours was. Like, basically, if you're gonna make a charcuterie board, any kind of pate that you serve, just do that. Fruit spreads,
dried fruits.
Yeah, dried fruits,
dried apricots,
figs, pickled vegetables are great. Like, you know, pickled carrots or dilly beans or cornichons, like you said. Mustards are fucking literally made for that. Like, mustards.
Whole grain mustards that are like poppy, like you pop the seeds. Pretty much anything that would be served on like a meat charcuterie cheese plate.
Exactly.
Well, that'll go with pate.
Yeah. So there you go. Go do yourself a favor and make yourself a pate de campagne this weekend, like I'm going to. Because I need to now, because I've been fucking knee deep in this fucking subject for a month and a half. And okay, so just, I'm gonna pull back the curtain a little bit. Before we started this episode, I was like, do you think we need a third episode? Because I have so much stuff I could talk about. And Jenny's like, I don't think people are gonna want a third episode on this. Because
we could talk pate all day, but I don't know if everyone else wants to hear us talk pate all day.
So, yep. And there you go. So thanks, everybody, for listening to the Rude Cooking School podcast. We really appreciate you listening to us. We appreciate you sharing our podcast with others. Word of mouth is how we get out there. We do not pay for advertising. So just, putting it out on Facebook or whatever social media that you endure, just sharing a link to the podcast really helps. Rating and reviewing us on wherever you get your podcast from really helps. iTunes, Spotify, follows, all that stuff. It really does make a difference. Go to Jenny's restaurant if you're in the Baltimore area. I don't think we say that enough, Jenny. Like, what's it called?
Peck's Place. Paik. Yes.
Spell that again.
We're only open 5 to 3. Paik.
I think I stepped over.
Apostrophe S. Yeah. We're only open breakfast and lunch because I like having a life.
And their subs are fucking incredible, and their breakfast, I'm sure, is even better. But
yeah, or get yourself a scrapple egg and cheese sandwich with grape jelly.
Hell yeah, and meet Jenny. Yell at her like, "Hey, I know who you are."
No, I will definitely ignore you.
She totally will. She'll just.
I ignore John when he comes. So.
Absolutely true. So go see her, eat her food, support her business. It's really important. And join our Facebook group, all that stuff, whatever. But more importantly, go support Jenny and her business. It's really good food. Go check it out. So for the Rude Cooking School podcast, I'm John Hauser III. Don't yuck my yum.
And I'm Jenny Peck. Go get you some pate.
Hell yeah. Pate to electric.
Boogaloo? I don't know.
Pate to electric smooth-a-loo. That sounds gross. Whatever. We'll figure it out.
I think, yeah, we'll get it next time.
Next time. Third part of Pate in another year.
No. Bye.
See you, everybody.